Hey guys, Eric here, and we're back in the backyard and we're looking at the inflatable spa. So I've been getting a lot of questions regarding the chemical management of your spa, and I've been trying to answer them in the comments, but I think it's better at this point that I just make a video about how to do it. So let me give you the background on this, and then we're going to handle all the chemicals for our spa. Okay, so the background on the situation right now is we've been away from our spa for about 2.5 weeks. So it's been off and it's been completely untreated. So I actually haven't removed the cover yet. Here it is. So I don't know what I'm in for, but I'm gonna show you guys how to get your spa up and running if you haven't used it in a while. The first thing that you wanna do is you wanna turn your spa on. I've replugged my spa back in, and I have the control panel down here, and it's been heating up all day. There is a pile of rocks here that Riley has put on top of my control panel, but that's okay. Anyway, if you can see down there, the little green LED next to the inside the flame there indicates that it is up to heat, and it is no longer heating, it is just filtering. But we're gonna take the cover off now and see what the state of the water is. I'm guessing it's gonna be pretty bad. Alright, so a couple things that you got to be aware of as soon as you take the cover off your spa when you've been away from it for a long time. The first thing that you want to look at is the color of the water. Now on camera, this water looks pretty good, but I can tell you right now in real life, it's not that great. It's a little bit green and it's got a little bit of a dingy color to it. That's not good. That means we need to take care of some stuff. The second thing you want to be aware of is the smell. So when you take off your cover, it should smell like a pool. That light chlorine smell is kind of an indication that your water is clean, sanitary, safe to go into. So this water doesn't smell very nice, but that's okay, we can fix it. It's not too far gone that I need to drain the spa completely and refill it with water. So that part's actually really good. Okay, the first thing I want to do after taking off the cover and I've assessed the quality of the water is I gotta get a new filter in there. I'm sure that filter's bad, and it's actually been filtering as it was heating up the spa, and that's not doing very much for the water itself. So I've got some new filters here. I'm going to show you how to replace it. First thing you need to do is grab the filter holder, which is that big container right there at the bottom that's screwed into the side. So it is actually screwed into the side, so we're just going to twist it off and pull it out. See if I can do this while I'm holding the camera. There we go. Filter container is free. You want to make sure all the water's out of it, or most of the water's out of there, just to make sure it doesn't drip everywhere. Alright, we're going to bring it right over here to our table where we have the rest of our stuff. I apologize that it's a little dark, but we mainly use our spa at night over here. So, there we go. Get that focus. We mainly use our spa at night over here, so I'm making this video in the dark. But that's okay. Here, let me get you a better view. There we go. Okay, here's our filter container. And here are our replacement filters. Generally, under regular use of your spa, if you're using it almost every day, let's say up to 3 times a week or so, you're gonna want to replace this filter at least every month to 2 months. You can extend it out a little bit if you take it out periodically and just hose it off a little bit, but you will notice that it gets stained pretty quickly under regular use, and you do want to make sure you always have a clean filter. The filters for this spa and the spas similar to this, inflatable spas, the Best Way spas, the Coleman spas, all the circular and rectangular and square inflatable spas like this, they all use this same filter. The size is a type 6, and you can get these on Amazon. They're pretty cheap, or you can go to your local pool store like Leslie's or something like that, and you can get them from there. This is a 4-pack, so we're gonna open this up and we're gonna take a filter out. Get some scissors here. This is a singular filter right here. All right, let's look at the condition of the old filter. So to open this up, you're gonna take this front part off, just unscrews, and then we'll pull this off. Oh my goodness, terrible. Yeah, so this filter is all kinds of dirty. As you can see, it's brown, it's disgusting. This filter is completely done. So, look at that compared to the new one. Really sad. So, that filter's done. We are actually gonna hose off this because this can get pretty dingy and dirty as well inside. So we're gonna hose off and clean this up, and then we'll put the new filter in. All right, now that the filter housing is actually cleaned up, we can put the new filter in. To do that, you're just gonna take this filter, you're gonna slide it right here over that, put the filter housing back on. Pretty simple stuff. And then screw this cap back on. New filter's in place. Let's go ahead and put it in the hot tub. The reason why I'm doing the filter first is so that the water can get filtered as I'm talking to you about the other chemicals. It's just good to get it in there. It can start cleaning stuff up for you. So we're just gonna screw this back into place. Right down here. There you go. Make sure it's nice and tight. You can dampen the filter, just hose it off a little bit before you put it in there. And but you don't really have to because you're just putting it right in. It should work fine. All right, so that's in there. That's gonna start filtering out the water. If you have lost any of your water level, now is a good time also to add some water. Make sure you're back up to those lines over, you can see them right there. So there's two lines, there's a min and max line. I like to keep the spa right in the middle because the water level will rise as people go in naturally. All right, guys, I'm gonna talk to you about each individual chemical, how to use them, and then we're gonna get the spa set up. Before I do that though, I'm gonna start with these. These are Brominating Tablets, and these are what keep the main workhorse of what keeps your spa clean and keeps the bacteria out, and yeah, just keeps it sanitary. Now these tablets, I'm gonna show you a trick with these. Second thing you gotta do after doing the filter is you got this tablet housing that's right there. It sits above the filter. Now this isn't screwed on, it's just on and twisted. So we're just gonna twist it and pull it off. Right there. And just like the filter housing, we're gonna drain it out. You shake it around and you should hear your tablets in there. I don't hear anything, which means my tablets are gone. So time to replace them. All right, this is my tablet housing right here. So what you can do, there's a little indicator there if you can see it. You're gonna twist it till it meets that little indicator, and then you can just pull it out. There's supposed to be some tablets in there. There's nothing, there's a little white speck, that's what's left of my tablet. All right, so if you get your standard Brominating tablets, like this here, you're gonna notice a couple things. I'm gonna take this off. First thing you're gonna notice, dump a few out, is they look like this, and they're big, and they don't fit in here very well. You can kind of wedge them in and push them in like this, but if you do that, it's really difficult to get this to slide on, because they're a little too big. So what I like to do is actually take these and you can crack them. You can use anything you want to crack them. You can use a screwdriver and you can just kind of knock them into place and it'll kind of crack them. I'm just gonna whack them a little bit. And then we've got our pieces like this. It's okay if they're a little small. You don't want them so incredibly small that they're just gonna dissolve instantaneously. So just make sure that you get some big chunks in there. Once we have our tablets in, we can close this right up, put it all the way in, and just rotate. Now, you'll see here, if I can get it to focus, come on, right there. Is it focusing? Maybe if I hide. Okay, you'll see right there, there's a plus and minus. That's gonna tell you how much of the chlorinating tablets to release. I like to put it right in the middle to start, and then we can adjust the water later if it's over chlorinated or under chlorinated. Okay, now that we have our tablets in, you can hear them in there. We're gonna put this back on, right above the filter, right there. There we go. All right, now our water is busy being cleaned. We got the new filter, we got the brominating tablets in. Now let's go over the chemicals. All right, this is your basic array of chemicals, and I'm gonna go over each one individually and then show you how they work. The only chemical I'm missing here is pH up, I believe. You will need some pH up, but that's okay. You can get by with these for now. So let's go over these in order. Okay. Why is it important to manage the chemicals in your spa? So if your chemicals are imbalanced in your spa, you can cause extra corrosion, you can cause damage to your spa, as well as your skin and the skin of those that are using the spa. So it's important to balance your chemicals, make sure your water's balanced, and make sure nothing's growing in there and the water stays sanitary. Theoretically, if you balance your chemicals in your spa, they should stay balanced. But soaps and oils on our skins, lotions and whatnot, when we get in and out of the spa, they mix with the water, they throw off the chemical balance, as well as air jets. If you've turned your air jets on in your spa, that messes with the chemicals in the spa as well. You don't have to be a chemist to do this, and it's actually pretty easy. First one we have is dry acid. Okay, dry acid is actually pH down. It's the same thing. You're gonna use this to adjust your pH levels. It actually tells you right here. Lowers pH and total alkalinity in pools and spas. Pretty easy to follow, but you need to have some of this on hand, because if you have misadjusted pHs in your spa, you can cause real problems. Stuff can start growing in there. You can cause extra corrosion, which can be expensive to repair, or you may even need to replace your spa. Also, it can cause skin issues if you've got people in the house or people that are gonna be using the spa that have sensitive skin. So you always wanna make sure that you have some of this on hand. I used to just eyeball all my chemicals, but that became a problem because I've got people in the house that have sensitive skin, and if your chemicals are off enough, it can cause skin issues, skin irritation, itchy skin, stuff like that, and it's just not good to have. So try to balance by water and keep it balanced, especially under frequent use of the actual hot tub. All right, so in order to measure chemicals, first thing you're gonna need, you can use some spoons like this. You can use some measuring cups like this. The important thing to note is that you have a separate cup or separate spoon for each chemical. You don't wanna be mixing the stuff for each one. It'll throw off your water and whatnot. You just don't wanna do it. These are just cheap cooking ones that I got. I think I got these from the dollar store. And these work. I mean, I use individual measuring cups and spoons for each individual chemical, and I also wash them afterwards. So if you only have one measuring cup, just make sure you wash it between different chemicals and you should be fine. The next chemical I have is Alkalinity Up. Now this will raise your pH, but it will mainly raise your alkalinity. That's why it's called Alkalinity Up. A lot of people will tell you Alkalinity Up is the same as pH Up. They are actually two different chemicals. pH Up will raise the pH in your water much faster than Alkalinity Up will. So if you need a quick adjustment, you should use some pH Up. pH Up will also raise the alkalinity in your water. Although not, as I said, not quite as quickly. I don't have any pH Up here, but I do have Alkalinity Up. So you need both these. pH down, Alkalinity Up, and pH Up. All three of these, rather. This one I already kind of went over. These are Brominating Tablets. You want to use Brominating Tablets when you have such a small body of water. They're a lot less harsh than just straight chlorine, and they work the same way. These tablets are good for this type of spa. This is generally what you want to use. None of these products have to be this brand. There's just a Leslie's that's within walking distance of our house, so I got all the chemicals from there. Next chemical is Spa Antifoam. This does exactly what it says. So if you're soaking in your spa and you have your jets on and you notice there is a ton of foam and it's just bubbling it up and it starts to look like a bubble bath, it's not supposed to be that way, and it shouldn't be that way. So you want to mix a little bit of this in your water, and it will clear up that foam almost instantaneously. It's good to have on hand, especially if you've got a lot of people during the day going in and out of the spa frequently. All those lotions and soaps are going to make the water foam up. Keep some of this on hand. Last chemical we have here, this is Chlor-Brite, and this is Spa Shock. Now, Spa Shock is basically what it says: quick dissolving concentrated chlorinating granular. So this is like it's like a powder, like a big salt. This is Spa Shock. So a couple ways you can use this. If you need a quick dose of chlorine into your spa, you notice the chlorine levels are really low, you can put a little bit of this in and those chlorine levels will go up. Put this in. Do not go into the spa right away after, until you know that the chlorine levels are actually balanced. Then go into the spa. And that can take anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours. It's generally pretty quick. This adjusts the water really fast. You want to be careful with this stuff. Do not overdose your water. Another way you can use this, if you are just starting new with your spa, you can sprinkle a little bit of this in with your Brominating Tablets into the water, and it will act as a spa starter, and it will clean that water up and make sure it's sanitary for use. The instructions will tell you not to use powder chemicals in your spa. I can tell you right now, powder chemicals are safe to use in your spa. You just have to make sure they dissolve pretty quickly, and the way you do that is when you add them, you turn the jets on for a while, it mixes up the water, it mixes the chemicals in, and make sure that they don't just get filtered out and they dissolve quickly, and they're safe for your spa. The last thing you need is not a chemical. These are test strips, and you need some of these. These tell you the condition of your water very easily. They have an easy to read key here on the side, and they're the first step in balancing your water. Okay, as I said, I've been away from the spa for about 2.5 weeks, so I expect the condition of this water to not be that great. But first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna test it out. So I'm gonna take one of these test strips out. You wanna make sure that you don't get these wet prior to using them. Just make sure they are completely dry. It's a little windy out here. All right. So here's our test strip. That's what it looks like when it's dry. And we are just gonna put it into the water. And you just wanna put it into the water just below the surface, about 6 inches down, wave it around a little bit, probably about 5-10 seconds. Bring it out. And the important thing is you don't wanna read it right away. You want to let it sit for about 30 seconds to a minute and let the colors adjust. And you'll see that it is changing colors. Okay, so this is what we've got here, and I will see if I can do this and keep it in the view of the camera as well. So our water is not in great shape. First, we have to look at our pH. As you can see, it barely turned a color. pH is super low. It's below very low. So we're definitely going to need some alkalinity up, or pH up. Next one is chlorine. Chlorine is measured in parts per million. That's what ppm means. And yeah, we're basically at 0. I don't know if you can see that. We're at 0. We need some chlorine. In order to fix that, the Brominating Tablets will balance that out eventually, but we are going to use some Spa Shock to get things started. Let's look at total alkalinity. Total alkalinity isn't too bad. I would actually say, yeah, it's not too bad. We're not quite in the okay. So we need some more alkalinity. Stabilizer is very low. Very low. Okay, let's get our water into better condition. The first chemical I want to add is the Spa Shock, so I can get the chlorine levels back where they should be, because that's what's going to keep the water sanitary. So as I said before, chlorine is measured in ppm, or parts per million. On your chlorine bottle, depending on your Spa Shock bottle rather, it will tell you the concentration of it. Each ½ ounce will raise the chlorine by 4 ppm. So if we look at our test here, we want to be right at 5 to 10 for Spa. I would say 10 is a little bit high. Yeah, between 5 and 10 for, that's for Brominating Tablets. If you look at the chlorine, between 3 and 5. So about 4. We're at 0. So we basically need ½ ounce of this. That's what we're gonna add right now. We'll come right down here to our control panel. Unlock it. Turn those jets on. As you can see, jets are running. Let's add our Spa Shock. About right. We'll mix that right in. Sorry, it's windy, it's blowing my hair all over the place. Mix that right in. Let the jets run for, I don't know, probably about 3 minutes or so. And that'll mix everything, mix the chlorine in. Alright, so the next thing that we gotta do is we gotta raise our pH. We can do that with Alkalinity Up. Although it's not ideal, it's better to use pH Up. But as I mentioned, I don't have pH Up, so we're gonna use Alkalinity Up. This does make it a little bit harder to balance the alkalinity with the pH, but it can still be done. So our pH was really low. Now the thing is, alkalinity is actually measured in ppm, parts per million, just like chlorine or Spa Shock or Brominating Tablets, but pH is measured a little bit differently. We had really low pH, and we want to be right in here. 7.2, what is it, 7.2 to 7.8. So we're gonna add some Alkalinity Up, and it actually has some really clear instructions about raising the pH as well as raising the alkalinity using this stuff here. So what it says here is 1 1/4 ounces of this Alkalinity Up added to 500 gallons of water will raise the total alkalinity by 10 ppm, or 10 parts per million. I think earlier I accidentally said that the Saluspa Laguna, the one that we have here, holds 1,500 gallons of water. That is way off. I think I was getting the number of how much it weighs. It weighs, when it's full, about 1,500 pounds, so it's pretty heavy. It holds 177 gallons of water, I believe. So this is 1 1/4 ounces to raise the total alkalinity, raise the total alkalinity by 10 ppm. We don't need a full 1 1/4 ounces because we don't have 500 gallons of water. We have only 177, so we need to adjust that down a little bit. Just like with the Spa Shock, I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of this Alkalinity Up. Then we're gonna let that dissolve, and then we'll test the water and see what levels we're at. Now that we've added our Alkalinity Up and our Spa Shock, we're gonna let those jets run for about 5 to 10 minutes to kind of dissolve and mix everything up. Once that's done, we're gonna wait about another 30 minutes and we're gonna retest our water and see where we're at balance-wise. Alright, our jets have been running now for about 30 minutes or so it's time to retest our water. Your water should be clear, it should be back to a normal color at this point because the chlorine is taking effect and the filtration is working and it should start to smell better. Time to retest the water. I like to retest in still water, so I turn the jets off. So let's retest and see what kind of numbers we're getting. Alright, after retesting our water, this is what we're looking at. Let's see if I can get this in view for you. As you can see, our pH level has gone up. We are in the okay range. Our chlorine level has also gone up. We are right there, right where it says spa okay. And if we look at total alkalinity, we are about good right there where it says okay. If we look at stabilizer levels, we are right at ideal. Our water is balanced. At this point, our spa is safe to use, as you've seen from our latest test strip. That being said, since we just recently put the Brominating tablets in and since we just replaced the filter there, I'm gonna give the spa a few hours to filter the water through and just make sure that everything is clean before we actually jump in and use it. I hope you guys found this video helpful and it's made managing the chemicals in your spa. I mean, you can use this same video for pools and whatnot as well, but that's a much larger body of water, so just be careful of your measurements. I hope this video helps you manage the chemicals in your spa. If you have any questions, drop me a comment below. I try to answer all comments as quickly as possible. Let me know, what things are you experiencing with your spas? Are you finding them hard to balance chemically? Or hopefully this is really easy for you. That's how to balance the chemicals in your spa. Happy hot tubbing. Hope you guys have a good time. Thank you for joining me for another problem solved.